Nope.
So, Jared, how's the stress been lately?
I don't know. I feel like it kind of ebbs and flows.
Okay.
Some days it'll be, I don't know. I think best way to describe it is some days I'll do okay, and like I won't have too much stress, or I'll have kind of like a lot of my plate, and then something will kind of just make it spike, so to speak, or like I'll kind of just start to kind of shut a little bit and not really process, I guess, everything that I've been going through.
Okay.
So kind of just like ebb and flow of the ocean.
So what I'm hearing is that through the ebb and flow, it does have a somewhat of a significant impact on your
Yeah.
life and your daily functioning.
Yeah.
With that being said, I have an idea if you would be willing to try a certain technique that's called mind-body bridging. And the basis behind it is that it's brain-based. It's not
Okay.
philosophical. It's not just this. In theory, it's a good idea. There's actually like science behind it that proves the efficacy of it. So I don't know if would that be something you'd be willing to try?
Yeah, sure. That's fine with me.
Okay, perfect. With this pad and paper,
Okay.
write something. What? Before we get going, what is something like specific that is really impacting your life or causing a lot of stress in your life right now? Is there like a specific thing, or maybe one thing you notice more than the other? Just anything specific.
Yeah. So like, kind of getting ready to. I know. I guess there's a kind of a couple things that have been going on, like just like a recent move, like getting ready to move and trying to get that all scheduled, while also at the same time like trying to get ready for like a new job to start. So it's kind of just so like there's a lot of change taking place at one time, like two really big stressful things, and so I think I'm just kind of getting I'm having a lot of like anxiety and kind of
Yeah.
confusion about how to process everything and get everything in order that needs to be. Those are kind of the two big things right now.
Okay, I can see that. Those are two very big events that's going on in your life, right? A lot of change and a lot of major changes that impact your life. So I think those are really valid events that are very stressful in a person's life. Okay, so on that paper in the middle, draw a circle about the size of an egg.
Just circle.
A circle in the middle of the paper.
Okay.
And then within that circle, write down the specific situation. So moving, getting a new job, whatever it is, just specific to that stressor.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now what you're going to do is we're going to take about anywhere from a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And what you're going to do is you're just going to word vomit on that paper. So essentially it's like a free write. And you want to write your thoughts down as it pertains to this situation, to this stressor. So kind of what's going through your mind. And I want your thoughts just to go basically straight from your head to the paper. So don't worry about correct spelling, correct grammar, anything like that. Like just whatever you are thinking, whatever thoughts you're having, just write it down on that piece of paper. And I'll let you know, but after about 90 seconds or so, we'll have this stop. But whenever you're ready, just let me know and we can get going.
Okay. So just go, just unfilter.
Yeah, just
Okay.
let it all out. Let it all out.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just write whatever's going through your head.
All right. You want me to start right now?
Sure.
Okay.
last thought or two.
Okay.
You got it?
Mhm.
Okay. Looking at this piece of paper and the thoughts, describe to me what was going on. Like, what kind of thoughts were you having?
I think for me, I was just kind of having like a lot of worry, like a lot of think uneasiness, you know, about like about moving and starting a new job, but mainly like kind of like with moving and trying to get everything in order, everything organized, and like I don't know, I don't. It's just a stressful thing because then like thinking of, I've noticed myself kind of like just getting a little more kind of like stress, so to speak, of thinking of everything that like has been done versus like everything that we still need to do, and kind of like that, and like a plan to kind of make sure that, you know, we can afford the move and be able to afford the new bills that are going to come our way and stuff like that. I guess.
So what I'm hearing is that it was like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And the thoughts were very kind of like scattered and rapid.
Mm-hmm.
What about in your body? How did you notice? What was the feeling in your body? Do you notice any sensations? Did you notice any tightening of muscles or shortness of breath or anything like that within your own body? Like, what did you notice?
I mean, I noticed that I had like some shoulder tension. It kind of like started to, when I started to kind of think of everything, it kind of started to allow me to kind of feel like some head pain, like I'm getting a headache. And then I kind of felt like I was getting some like hand tightness from, I guess like I was just kind of writing. I think I was writing down stuff pretty hard.
Okay.
Yes, those are kind of the things that I kind of reflecting on it now, things that I kind of noticed.
That you noticed? Good. And when you're in this kind of state of mind, how do you feel you operate in daily life? How do you feel you show up for the activities? Does it make it hard? Is it easier? What does it look like for you?
I think I'm more kind of like just agitated.
Okay.
I think because I feel that I have a lot on my plate, and then going through all this, it just kind of adds more to the more to the pot, and so it just, you know, so like it's now, instead of, you know, having to deal with all these things, I feel it just makes it so there's more than usual, so I'm kind of feeling overwhelmed and just higher amounts of irritation.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, when you feel irritable, you have a shorter fuse. So
Yeah.
you might get angry easier.
Yeah.
You know, you might, instead of yelling at the dog, you might kick the dog. You know, you're very short-tempered. Would you say that's a little accurate? I mean, not actually kicking the dog, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm just curious if
Yeah,
if
I
that's
don't
fine.
hit animals, but
Good.
but yeah, like I've noticed kind of like I'll like kind of like bite my tongue a little bit more, and, you know, try not to kind of blow up, or I'll just muddle underneath my breath a little bit more and stuff like that, I guess.
That could be exhausting.
Yeah,
I'm sure
sucks.
that can wear and tear on you. It takes a lot of emotional energy to kind of keep that in check. And that's what we want to try and decrease.
Okay.
So the second part of this technique is rip that paper off and put it down next to you, face down,
Okay.
anywhere. And draw the same size circle in the middle of the paper.
Okay.
And in the middle of it, put the same thing.
Same circle, and the same stuff that was written in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now this time I want you to practice something. I want you to pay attention to any noise in the background. If you hear any ticking of the clock, cars passing by, I want you to, kind of feel your pen, feel the texture of the pen, notice just be very aware and notice your surroundings. You know, what do you hear? What do you see? You know, the color of the wall, the light from outside shining in. Just kind of anything you're aware of.
Okay.
And I want you to practice paying attention to that and noticing that as you're writing about the same stressor.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You have any questions?
No. I'll do all
Okay,
the rest.
and we'll do this for this about 90 seconds to 2 minutes, and whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Okay.
Keep going. Notice the sensation of the feet on the ground. Pay attention to what it feels like to sit on that couch. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. And as you're finishing up your last thought or two, move on to the next part.
Okay.
Good? Okay. Now what I want you to do is rip out that piece of paper and grab the other piece of paper and put them side by side.
Okay.
And as you're looking at it, what do you kind of notice? Well, first of all, sorry, looking at the second map, what kind of thoughts were you having? What was going on in your head? Can you describe any of the thoughts that you were at the time?
Yeah, I think for me, I was like, I kind of had some like thoughts of like, okay, why am I, why am I doing this? Like, what's the point? And then eventually, I just kind of said, I'll just go with it. And so I kind of started just to write down the things that I was hearing and what I was kind of feeling with it. And yeah, it was interesting. Like, I noticed that I kind of started to focus more on like what I was experiencing going on around me rather than kind of like the things that it's like the thoughts that I was having in my head. So it kind of was nice to do something else rather than dwelling on the things that continue to, keep coming up time and time again.
Excellent, good. What about with the body? Did you notice any differences in the body tension or any body sensations in comparison to your first?
I think I still had some like tension in my hand just from writing, but other than that, like I didn't really notice the shoulder pain, like the shoulder tension that I had earlier. I kind of noticed that like because of it, the kind of the pressure that I had in my head was kind of starting to subside and
Okay.
wasn't really being that
Wow.
much of a factor. I actually kind of like felt some tension, so to speak, like, or like it became more apparent to me, like as I was doing it, like tension in my back that I had, like when I was kind of slunched over. No, so no, I think it was this one was better than the
Wow.
first.
Wow, that's good. That's good to hear. So what we just did is the essential part to mind body bridging. So it's called thought mapping. And what essentially what mind body bridging is, it's based on this idea that there's your true self, and then the I system. And your true self is essentially all of who you are. So your true self is everything about you, including the I system.
Okay.
And the I system, basically, when it's overactive, it interferes with your true self, so it gets in the way. It's like you're driving in this tunnel, right? So have you heard of tunnel vision?
Yeah.
Right, like all you can see is like what is right in front of you. So that's kind of what it's like is when you're in this I system, is that's all you can see, that's all you're focused on, right? So for example, with that first map, you were focused on the stress of getting a new job and moving, and then you saw bills and what the bill's going to be like, and so it's all you're focused on is on that stressing event, and that's all you can see. Whereas when you're in your true self, it's like you're out of that tunnel and you can see everything, right? So you don't feel so squashed, so compacted by this one sort of event that's occurring in your life. And so with mind body bridging, there's essentially 3 kind of tools that you can use in order to kind of like relax it and reduce your stress, which is the whole idea of kind of what you're wanting to, and what you're wanting out of treatment, is kind of to reduce your stress and anxiety. And the 3 main tools is what your in your I system is. So like, what was the main difference between your thoughts and your body tension, right? So it was less body tension on the second map. So whenever you notice body tension or tightness of breath, whatever it is, and or you have like a racing mind, I call it the K-fuck radio, right? When it's just go da 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 da, whenever you notice you're in that, or those feelings or sensations or thoughts, that means you're in your I system.
Yeah. Okay.
And how we get out of that I system, or that kind of space, is 3 main tools. And what we did, the first one is thought mapping, and that is basically the central, most main ingredient to mind body bridging, is that thought mapping exercise. The second thing is sensory awareness. So when I asked you to like pay attention to cars driving by, what the color of the paint is on the wall, or ticking of the clock, right? So that's another way, or another form that you can use to get out of that I system. And the third one is thought labeling.
Okay.
So thought labeling is just essentially, you are not your thoughts. So your thoughts are just, they don't define you. They're not your identity. That's not who you are. It's kind of like an opinion. So for example, if you have a thought of, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills on time, instead of identifying and attaching to that thought, just label it as a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am thinking this right now, instead of I am this, or this will happen. It's just like, oh, I am having this thought right now, and that's thought labeling.
Okay.
Is this something you think you'd be willing to try and kind of dive a little deeper into?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely if I continue to, I think this could be beneficial if I kind of get the hang of it a little bit more and kind of focus on, specific things. And I think too, I think it can be beneficial if in the moments if I like remember to do it, because I think that's always kind of the biggest thing for me is being able to. I know that there's things in like tools kind of like this that are out there for me, I think, but it just comes down to the aspect of being able to remember like when to do them in certain moments. But I feel like this could definitely be a beneficial thing for sure.
Cool.